What's up, guys? It's Jonathan, and today I'm going to share with you my #1 brain retraining exercise that helped me heal from long COVID, mold exposure, and severe brain fog that took away my energy and held me down for over 2 years. Now, there were so many techniques that I tried, from watching dozens and dozens of videos and hours of research, reading many different books and looking to many different gurus. And what I found was there's a connection between all of them. And it was fascinating because they all called it a different name, like the Silva method or Upa yoga or the pendulum technique. But in the end, it all came down to relaxing your body. And this is how you do it. You relax your body. And then you basically imagine the pain, the discomfort, the negative emotions, and you go deep into it for maybe a minute or two, okay? So you magnify the pain, you magnify the discomfort, you magnify the emotion. You imagine how bad it is, and then you make it even worse. You exaggerate it. And so you're gonna feel the discomfort, and you're not gonna run away from it. You're gonna push into it. You're gonna magnify it. You're gonna try to feel the anger more. You're gonna try to feel the pain more. You're going to try to feel the frustration and the hopelessness and the sadness and the grief more and more and more. And then after you do that for a minute or two, then what you're going to do is, you're doing this with your eyes closed, right? Then what you're going to do is looking up and to the left slightly, about 15 degrees. You imagine yourself taking action on something that's going to cure you. And then you imagine that for about a minute, and then looking up another 15 degrees up and to the left, you imagine yourself completely better, ideally healed, powerful, strong, happy, your ideal self. And that's it. It's called the 3 scenes technique. And this is taken from Jose Silva, from the Silva method. So I want to explain why this works and the correlations between what I found in different meditation techniques. Because although there are little details about like looking up and to the left with each changing scene, this same pattern is so common that you see in meditation practices and emotional release and integration practices. And there's a reason why it works, okay? So let's start from the beginning. So first of all, a lot of times people are resistant to feeling into the pain, right? So you have this pain, you have this fatigue, you have this brain fog, you have this like crisis in your life, and a lot of times the emotions get built up inside you, and you end up going too deep into it, or you end up trying to push it away too much, and you suppress it, right? And so those are both mistakes, because I found that when I was going through my chronic fatigue and my depression that came along with it, I found that I would either just completely escape and have to just shut it out completely and not face it, or I would just go too deep into it and just get so depressed and just get hopeless and buy into it, and it would take me away for days. I'd either be in days and weeks of just hiding, coping, taking whatever I can to hide from it, to just ignore it, or I would just be basking in it, just like dying in it, just going deep into the depression. The overwhelming thoughts are just getting worse and worse and worse. And then that gets into your mind, and the stress actually makes your condition worse. And so I didn't know how to balance these. And so the internal emotions kept on getting worse, and that's what people call stress, right? So you have to understand how to heal emotionally and how to handle yourself emotionally as you're going through even a physical illness. And so that's why this technique works so much, is because it's an emotional release and it's an emotional integration. So it helps you actually decrease the stress that you're not just holding in your mind, but in your body. So you know the feeling. You're stressed out in your mind, and it makes your body worse. But you don't know what to do with your emotions, right? Maybe you feel anger, frustration, resentment, but that's paired with depression, worry, all these weak emotions, anxiety, low self-esteem, self-loathing. And all of this is actually making it worse. And you can feel it, but maybe you don't know what to do about it. For the longest time, I didn't know what to do about it. I would either just like scream in the pillow and just like beat the crap out of my bed like Donkey Kong. Like I would literally just be smashing my bed, like Donkey Kong, like grunting because I was so angry and everything I tried hadn't been working. It's like a funny image to imagine, but the rage is real when you're just so frustrated about just being so tired and weak and socially rejected, and the difficulty that you have socially and emotionally and physically. It's hard to sleep, it's hard to eat, it's hard to even get up and take a walk, it's hard to shower, and you're just so fed up with it. You want to die, but you want to kill something at the same time. It's so intense that I literally didn't know what to do about it. So I just beat the crap out of my bed like Donkey Kong and just take a pillow and scream. And I mean, it was either that or just like lie there numb, and just like my mind would just spiral out of control and become like more depressed, and even to the point of suicidal, to where you don't even want to live. And so I knew that these unhealthy extremes were happening, right? But I wanted to be able to face it and process it in a more healthy way, because people, my parents, were thinking, what's this guy doing in there? And I say, I'm processing my emotions. And it's so frustrating because people didn't understand what I'm doing. And so what I found is these techniques to integrate the emotions, to heal the emotions, to settle them down, to acknowledge them, to not suppress them. I read about it from Carl Jung. He talked about shadow integration, facing the darkest emotions, the darkest tendencies and impulses that we have, and making a ritual out of them so that you can face it, integrate it, and not suppress it, right? The bad thing about suppressing and ignoring it and pretending like it's not there is that it still is operating inside you. Your emotions, your desires, your impulses, all of that is still there. It's just you're not letting yourself look at it. It's kind of like it's underneath the bed, but you're pretending like it's not there, but it's still rotting. It's kind of like having poop underneath your bed. You're pretending like it's not there, but it's still stinking and people can smell it, and you're just pretending like it's not there, but you can smell it too, and it's getting bad for your environment. And so looking at so many different approaches to mental health, dealing with stress, it always involved this pendulum of dipping into the negative emotion, the pain, the negative dark side, right? And then coming back into the brightness of life, right? So there's so many ways that we can talk about this, but the technique that I gave you is an amazing way that Jose Silva actually gave a tool to people to be able to use it. And so it only takes like 5 minutes. He called it the 3 scenes technique. And we can do a demo of it right now, or we'll do it at the end of the video, because I want to talk a little bit more about other methods that speak about the same principle, like yoga and Sadhguru's techniques, and then Frederick Dodson's meditation techniques, just to give a little bit more background and framework to the different professionals and practices that have been using this for a very long time. Just to finish off what Carl Jung was talking about, a lot of times, even just for mental health, he would recommend to do some kind of shadow journaling, some kind of shadow talk, where you act out, you dance, you express, you journal, you can communicate in any way, all your dark impulses. It's like a confession, right? Whether you're confessing to a priest or your friend or ChatGPT, or writing it down, or expressing it with music, with sounds, with dance, with movement, with aggression. You know, ideally you're doing this in your own privacy, right? Because you don't want to, build a weird reputation. You don't want, you know what I mean? So any way that you can express it in a ritualized fashion, you do that for a certain amount of time, you rest a little bit, but then you go into the opposite and say, yeah, I acknowledged all of that darkness. I acknowledged that I have these horrible tendencies towards anger, depression, hopelessness, destruction, horniness, promiscuity, drugs, escapism. Like, you acknowledged all of it, but then you say, and deep down, I also acknowledge that I'm going towards higher and higher levels. I'm going towards integration, consideration, leadership, doing the best for everybody, being loyal, being pure, being careful about my sexuality. And so you acknowledge both. You don't glorify one over the other. You don't demonize your negative tendencies, because that just makes it worse. You have to admit that you have them both going on, but you have to admit also like the positive things in life. You can't get lost into the negative things in life and just focus on the pain forever. You can't just focus on the hopelessness and the fatigue and the brain fog and how unfair it is and rail against God. You have to bring yourself back into the affirmations and the positivity and the hopeful music, even if you don't feel like it. Because a lot of times you won't feel like going into the positivity, but you gotta pendulum in and out. And this is how Frederick Dodson actually recommends you do it too. He has this most powerful meditation technique video on his channel. You can look it up. I'll link it right here. Where he talks about you literally do the same process where you focus on the negativity in your mind and in your body, and you just focus in on it and you magnify it, you let it expand, but then you release it and you focus on a part of your body that's not in pain, that feels good. And you focus on that and you breathe deep and you let that expand. So you can do that physically with physical sensations, and you can also do it mentally with mental sensations or past experiences or negative emotions. You can close your eyes and do that with your rage and your anger. You can clench your fists. You can get as angry as you can, feel it where it is in your body. Just make all the sounds associated with it and just go fully into it, and then completely relax and start making faces of pleasure. And even if it's fake, you just do it with your body. You focus on the most beautiful thing, the most funny thing, the most relaxed thing, the most beautiful thing. You focus on a part of your body that just feels excellent. You think about all the things that you're grateful for, gratitude lists, positive affirmations. And then after you feel like you've exhausted your capacity for that, then you go back to the pain. And you do that using your intuition, feeling how long you can authentically do it before you want to switch. Don't overwhelm yourself. Sometimes when I was doing it, I would go so deep into the pain, the frustration, that I would get scared, and into the depression and into the feelings of being like the Joker where I just want to destroy. I would get scared and I'd say, okay, that's all I can handle for now. And then I'd switch back to a prayer of positivity, of hope, of love, of self-control, of overcoming, of heroic overcoming, of the hero's journey, of all the beautiful things that I'm going to transform this into, of how the human spirit can overcome anything in your life, of how the power of goodness and heroic greatness, the human spirit can overcome anything with God. And you go back and forth until you genuinely, you don't feel it anymore. And this penduluming back and forth, it irons out the positive and negative forces in you so that you don't feel too negative, and you also don't just feel like you're suppressing all of your negativity. And so I'd come out of this feeling way more like integrated. I feel energized from dipping into the shadow and then dipping into the gratitude. You feel profoundly energized, and you have a better understanding of what's going on. You have an emotional release, and it decreases your stress a millionfold, because you can be trying to go to work, have conversations, even eat food, but you feel this racing mind, this racing body, the fast heart rate, and it won't let you do anything constructively. It actually makes everything that you do very clunky and very full of friction, and it just makes it worse. You start building more and more frustration and stress. And so what I would say is build a daily practice of doing this. And it really is a practice. You can get better and better at dipping in and out and really feeling your emotions and really integrating both sides of yourself without judgment. That's another very important part. You know, you can use music as you do it. You can play heavy metal, just violent music, and then you can play like worship music and like the most inspirational anime music, and pendulum back and forth and do a couple cycles and figure out what works for you. There's no set in stone amount of time that you have to do it, no frequency of how long you have to do it. You can do it for 2 minutes, you can do it for 20 minutes. And it might take a day, a week, a month, a year, 2 years before you feel like you're getting amazing progress. For me, I felt amazing progress within a week or two. Even inside the session itself, I mean, sometimes I would be so depressed, rock bottom depressed, suicidal, that even a little bit of an increase, it was hard to notice because I was so numb, so aching in my body and in my mind that you almost don't notice it. But being sad and tired is different from being like suicidal and hopeless and destructive, right? So rest assured, the technique works. Rest assured, even if it feels painful, like you won't want to go into the pain, you won't want to go into the darkness, you won't want to feel and acknowledge all those urges and all the frustration from it, the horniness, the anger, the hatred. You won't want to, but dip into it a little bit, even if it's just for 5 seconds, and then come out back to the safe place. Okay? Now, Sadhguru also talks about this. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can just use your physical body to relax, because a lot of times your mind is so tired that you literally don't want to think about the negative or the positive. It's too hard. So sometimes you just want a physical technique to literally force your body to relax. And that's where all of these de-stressing techniques come in that are also very important, very worthwhile. Something as simple as just like taking a warm shower, taking an Epsom salt bath with essential oils and putting on music. Sometimes it literally feels like work to even do these relaxing things, getting a massage. It's work to schedule it, to drive over there. But in the end, it's worth it. And so sometimes you have to just have this repertoire of physical relaxation things that you can do. Like sometimes we call it in Upa Yoga, Nadi Shodhana, where you sit and you literally just take your fingers like this. You breathe in and out of each nostril as you alternate and block them. And you'll find at first you feel so uncomfortable doing it. You don't want to do it. You want to distract yourself, but you'll find that these physical relaxation techniques, they do actually work. There's some that you use your mind for, there's some that you just use your body for. And so I'm going to link you to Upa Yoga if you want a purely physical way to relax your body. It includes humming. A lot of people, they're learning about the power of the vagus nerve, and now humming can activate that relaxation response in your body just by uttering sounds like ah, ooh, prolonged. So click here if you want to see that. Click here if you want to see the physical relaxation techniques. And click here if you want the full meditation of the 3 scenes technique that we talked about. And all of them, they're very interesting. They fit together. Just pick one. They're all very similar. Don't overwhelm yourself. A lot of these techniques, they have the same intention, the same aim, the same theoretical foundation. You don't have to think, which one's the best? Which one should I do first? How many of them should I do? Just pick one. Just experiment. Just relax into it, because what I found is a lot of these have the same guiding principles. So you don't have to stress out about which one's the best. Am I doing it perfectly? You don't have to worry about that, okay? Rest assured, you will come out of this. Rest assured, there's a way. Rest assured, you can heal. And if you want more of that kind of motivation, click here, because I have another story for you that will even just by listening to this, maybe you're in a place where you don't even want to do anything. You're just lying there and you're frozen. If you just need motivation, if you just need hope, click here, because I'm going to tell you how I actually got myself to hope when I was in my darkest and darkest and darkest hours. Because there's so many ways to think about your life, and you have to think about it in such a way that lets you take that next step, to not give up, to keep on going. And sometimes that's very difficult. So I want to talk to you about that. I want to talk to you about hope. I want to talk to you. It's very important. I want to talk to you about not giving up. I want to talk to you about staying in the game. I want to talk to you about being brave and taking that one next step, because your existence matters. And if you gave up, it would hurt and make many people sad. As useless as you feel right now, you matter. Your future, it matters. And you staying in the ring and doing your best, I'm telling you, if you give up, it's gonna hurt a lot of people. if you keep on going, you're gonna have potential to reach and to help so many people. There's so much reason to stay in the fight, and you have to take it seriously. So click here, and we can talk about that. Other than that, like the video if you like this video, and realize if you need more help overcoming this, your fatigue, your brain fog, your depression, follow the channel, because I'm going to be sharing everything that I use to overcome this dragon, to overcome the mold, whether it's long COVID, whether it's just idiopathic, the doctors don't know why, whether it's SIBO or candida overgrowth, whether you think you have Lyme, any source of your fatigue. We're going to go into techniques that help all of that, because at the bottom of it are very similar causative factors. Okay, so if you want more of that, if you want to feel energized and alive again, if you want to feel your energy revived, get rid of this brain fog and depression, follow the videos. Click the videos here. Keep going on your path. There's so many cool things that you can learn, not just to heal, but to make your life powerful. These things are not just to heal if you're going through a health crisis. They're actually to energize you and to take you to the next level, no matter where you're at. So even if you just have a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of brain fog, this is for you too. These principles that we're learning about gut health, about stress, about how to use your mind and be more in touch with nature and live a more natural life, they're for everybody. Even if you're just looking for performance enhancement, right? So biohacking is not just for the sick. It's not just for the people who want to enhance their health either. It's for everybody. It's for everybody who wants a more powerful body and brain. All right? So thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one.